What's a secret all men keep that women don't know? I have a coworker who has wonderful qualities that tells me that not only will he remain single, but a virgin as well. 1. Extremely poor hygiene, to the point it lingers in whatever location he works in. 2. Pathological liar about everything. 3. Extremely sexist, always shitting on women he works with, unless he thinks they like him, then he gets really creepy. 4. Uses every ounce of power behind his position at work, which isn't much, in order to make coworkers fear his words, him. 5. Blames his subordinates to his boss when he fucks up. Perfect example. Annual evaluations were due last month. He was lazy and didn't do them. His excuse? My troops were just such underperformers this year I couldn't even think of anything to put down, he's in the military. 6. His house is a biohazard. Not kidding, the military had to call in special cleaners for his room when he left his last base, and I saw his apartment at this new location. It's horrific. This guy is just functional enough to not get fired, but everyone collectively hates him. User replies. That's management material right there. Always trying to be the toughest man in any situation. I have one guy I know in mind and he claims to have no fears, could take anyone on, and is just an absolute dick. Reminds me of Cyrus from Trailer Park Boys, but worse and less funny. Think their flaws are forgivable while the flaws of others aren't. User replies. We judge ourselves by our intentions, we judge others by their actions. User replies. This is why communication is so important. It's easy for me to judge you by your intentions if you make it clear to me what you are intending, or did intend. If one can't communicate this to their partner, all that's left is actions. Like, I don't care if my partner fucks up if they are able to apologize for a screw-up and explain a thought process. I probably won't be happy if they do something I don't like and never acknowledge anything went wrong. Smell like ass. To many people in my circle, single men who just smell like ass. User replies. Dog, if they're in your circle you gotta tell them. Nobody else is going to. User replies. I have and they still smell like ass. Not showering every 3 days if more than enough. No, it's not Mr. Ass. User replies. It's so important. I walked past a guy in the supermarket today, not really looking at him, nothing notable. We both stopped in the same section, and I caught a whiff of clean man smell, i.e., not heavy cologne or anything, just a mild scent, maybe of soap. I immediately felt aware of him in a different way, not overtly sexual, but just, man. Smell is fucking important, clean your behinds and change your nasty socks. User replies. I don't know where I heard this, but it was a comedian, I think. The first hole you're going to penetrate is her nostril. I am continually surprised at who can get a girlfriend/boyfriend. Really, some of the most man-children I've ever seen have gotten married. Some of the biggest assholes I know have kids. There is one guy I know that I think will struggle, though. He's in his 20s and the only way he can entertain himself is by making loud fart noises with his mouth. I'll be sitting there chatting with another friend, and out of the blue he'll just make this sloppy shart sound with his face and laugh his ass off. And you know, I'm a simple guy. I laugh at good poop jokes. When someone has good timing with a fart, I laugh. But this guy literally cannot make a joke, he cannot tell a story, he cannot enjoy a moment of silence without making fart noises. Just constantly. I'm debating removing him from our Discord server that our IRL friends hang out in, because he has nothing to say. It's just fart sounds. Non-stop. Fart sounds. User replies. I worked with a guy like that and he brought his girlfriend to the company Christmas party. She was smart and beautiful and a wonderful person. I'm still confused about it 10 years later. User replies. Went to company Christmas banquet. The most loudmouth, obnoxious, crazy asshole co-worker walked in filthy jeans, a greasy beard, and a ratty t-shirt looking like a fucking vagrant. With a wife that looks like Martha Plimpton in her prime on his arm. User replies. I've been to a similar party. Ladies at the party asked her why she was with her boyfriend. 6 months later, she wasn't. Don't mind me, just reading for potential self-reflective purposes. User replies. Honestly, this already puts you ahead of some of the examples in here. Self-reflection and willingness to improve can take you a long way. User replies. Oh good, now that I've gotten my validation, I can move on to the next thread. Make overt sexual remarks, at inappropriate times, to people they do not know well enough off for that sort of banter. User replies. I was at a friend's party with my husband and daughter and ended up talking to this random guy. Turns out his son was just a year older than my daughter. He starts making cracks about his son, teaching my daughter a thing or two, you know, wink wink. My daughter was 3. User replies. Holy shit. I didn't think he could get much more revolting, but that last line really hit different. Frankly, I'd be concerned for his poor son. Who regards toddlers this way? User replies. The same people that ask 4-year-olds if they've got a boyfriend or girlfriend. The same people that accuse toddlers of flirting with them. Loudly telling women how to be more desirable to men. Usually without provocation. User replies. You'd be much prettier if you smiled more. I'd be much happier if I kicked you in the nads. Refers to girls only by bitches or hoes. User replies. Or females, never uses women, ladies, chicks, etc. Unrealistic expectations of a partner. I worked with a guy that basically everyone in the office would consider an incel simply based on his list of requirements. His bare minimum was 1. She has to be a 8 out of 10 or higher. He was a 3 or 4 if we are calling 5 average. 2. Have her own job making somewhat similar income as him, he made $75K entry level. 3. The job can't just be a regular job, it has to be a ambitious career. In his eyes that's only STEM or a lawyer. 4. She has to do all the interior house work like cooking and cleaning, he will cut grass and hire people for repairs. 5. No tattoos of any kind, no piercings besides ear lobes. 6. Has to be okay with at least 3 kids and she will do all childcare. Along with many other ideals and preferences, but those 6 are the bare minimum for him to consider dating. He basically wanted a perfect slave. There was a woman we worked with that actually fit 4 or 5 of these minimums. She was as conservative traditional Christian as it gets. She actually tried to talk some sense into this guy on several after-work events about how ridiculous it is to want someone with a full-time career and be a full-time housewife among other things, to no avail. He obviously had a crush on her, but he claimed he never made a mose because she was too old, same age. He said you want to get a wife that's 18 or 19 so she's still young and can take care of you when you retire. Keep in mind this 18 or 19-year-old needs a career making around the same as him. User replies. High-income job plus full-time housewife. Jesus Christ. Is he actually stupid? Like any traditional woman will tell you that ambitious career and running the household do not go in the same sentence. User replies. This is definitely a gross thing. They want the tradwife who, oh yeah, pays also 50% plus of the bills and does everything so he never has to sully his hands with housework or, gasp, his own children. No woman with good options would deal with that shit. Sending unsolicited dick pics is a good indicator. User replies. Pics makes them sound like they're carefully curated for only the finest quality sexual harassment. User replies. I send duck pics instead. Hey babe, do you like my duck? Wanna touch it? Blaming all women for something one woman did. When they are slob and disaster as a person. But proceed to have a 10-page single-spaced list of what they want in a woman. User replies. On the flip side, there are high-achieving people who have lists of why they're a great catch and what they're looking for, and they're surprised when love isn't about checking off boxes. A dude I know, who is kind of an incel, upon seeing any woman, feels the need to rate them out loud. I'm amazed he hasn't gotten pepper sprayed lol. User replies. To their face? User replies. Yes, almost every time. User replies. What does he actually say, though? Oh, a solid 7. How you doing? User replies. Nope, it's always negative. He's one of those, all women are whores, types, and it makes him impossible to like. My personal favorite incident was when he gestured for a girl to take her earbuds out, then when she did he told her she was a 1 out of 10. Hence why I'm amazed he hasn't been pepper sprayed or something. User replies. The funny thing is, the guys doing the rating are usually nothing more than a 3 out of 10 themselves. User replies. It's so true though. Or they're insanely critical of women who are widely considered hot. Kate Upton looks like a squishy brick, or saying this girl I know who married a former pro basketball player and looks like a shorter version of Angela Garten is the Land O'Lakes factory of butterfaces, but we all know that they would be lucky to have any woman go near them. User replies. Being insanely picky means they'll never have to actually do an approach, it's avoidant behavior. Nothing. I've watched the absolute worst of the worst still find someone willing to tolerate them. I'll cross my fingers for the younger generations to draw that line. User replies. Because of loopholes in the law, a couple moved in next door when I was a kid where the 50-something-year-old husband had went to prison for violently raping his 12 to 13 years old stepdaughter. My dad once asked the wife why she stayed with him. She replied it didn't matter to her, he was the one who was stupid enough to get caught. So I'm not shocked by anything anymore. User replies. This is a fair point. Shit, even Ted Bundy found a wife, while on trial for murder. Not take responsibility and lacks any self-reflection. No one wants an incompetent man-child that thinks they are perfect and unwilling to grow/change. User replies. I beg to differ. There's a ton of incompetent man-children with GFs/wives. When they talk about women's value as if they are commodities. I distanced myself from a very old friend seeing him go off the deep end. User replies. I had to distance from a previously good friend when he started going down this rabbit hole as well. He used to be a really great person, but he suffered from a chronic illness, severe type 1 diabetes. It got worse and worse because he would not change his diet, he would not exercise, and he was convinced his doctors were all wrong on how to manage a healthy lifestyle with this disease. He basically convinced himself that nothing he did would make him better, and that meant that no woman would ever want him either. He became more and more depressed about it, venting to me constantly. When I would make suggestions, he would yell at me. If I just nodded my sympathies quietly, not knowing what to say, he would yell at me. I started distancing myself because every convo turned into him lamenting how worthless he was, and how all the good women that would be able to love him were taken. He implied heavily that he was including me in that category as well, which made things extremely awkward as we had been friends a very long time and he never had an issue with me being in a relationship before. After that he spiraled into the full red pill incel world. He would message me constantly asking me baited questions like, do you think wearing makeup is catfishing? Or, do you think thoughts even deserve love? Seriously wild stuff. He began blaming women for his own health problems next, stating that he wouldn't be sick if women were still traditional caring and nurturing wives etc., as had he been married his wife would have kept him healthy and so on. He would talk about how valuable a woman was based on how submissive and traditional she was, but also that a woman could be all those things and still be low value if she had a flat butt and so on. I had stopped answering him for some time, and he still spammed me with message after message about this stuff, until finally one day he sent me a picture of all the guns and ammo he had been collecting, and speaking enthusiastically about how much he loved to shoot. This terrified me and I blocked him in every way possible, as we don't live close anymore, so that's the only way he could contact me. I also phoned the non-emergency line at the local police station in his town and mentioned my worries. They said there was nothing they could do about it, and that was that. So far he's done nothing violent, but I worry it's a matter of time. I've known quite a few men who believe they have to treat women poorly to get their attention and respect. I've tried helping them open their eyes to all of the healthy, happy, and normal relationships around them, but these guys are usually pretty disconnected from reality. I've also known men who seem to think women owe them something. Like they don't need to try to be a good person or a good partner, they just need to check off the "I'm a man" boxes and act cool, then women should be falling head over heels for them. Always looking for the perfect mate. User replies. Yeah, I've seen a lot of schlubby, plain, mid-level guys who are shockingly picky about women, turning up their noses at anyone less than supermodel gorgeous. Too fat. Too tall. Not a blonde. I want a blonde. Then, they whine about getting rejected. I want to say, dude, who are you to be so judgmental? Wish I could nail it down, but every comment here, I know a man who is married in spite of the traits. I also know many kind, wonderful, intelligent and funny men who behave well, would make good partners, have their shit together, who are perpetually single. So any reason that should keep men single doesn't seem to matter, and the men who have every reason to not be single still are. People are complicated, life is messy. I'd say the thing that most keeps men out of long-term happy relationships tends to be a lack of self-awareness, in however that manifests. And yet, those men will still be married for decades, so, I don't know. User replies. I've also known really great dudes who ended up alone way too much. Many of them didn't take a lot of chances on dating, though. The awful dudes who end up with women are willing to shoot their shot even if they think they have no chance. The worst of them look for a certain kind of prey, and then predate on them. There's not a good metric, because part of the equation is left to chance. Will you even encounter someone single with whom you connect? The greater chances of doing so are usually outside of your comfort zone, looking for social connections that extend beyond your day-to-day life. And some guys really are just unlucky in love, as are some of my friends who are women. They do try, and they end up with people who hurt them, time and again. So eventually, being intelligent and sensitive, they stop trying. User replies. Usually, good dudes don't take as many chances, because being a good dude concerns thoughts like, I don't want to ruin this friendship, and I don't have reason to think she was being anything other than nice, and I should probably work on myself right now rather than date. This is constantly and forever held against them as a character flaw rather than a reflection of what is actually good about them. We should actually just stop demonizing being single. Because you said it, those dudes are great people, but here you are feeling sorry for them because life didn't reward them for it. Not taking care of their personal hygiene. Like, come on man, I don't want to smell your body odor, why would any potential partner? Also, wash your goddamn hands after using the bathroom, you filthy animal. I have a friend who has incredibly high standards when it comes to dating. He wouldn't go out with an overweight or not conventionally pretty girl. Meanwhile he is overweight, balding, boring-looking guy in his 40s with a shit job and a hairy back, who did not had sex in the last 20 years, unless he paid for it, what he did frequently. His father left his mother when my friend was a baby, never had a male role model in his life. As we come to the end of this video, I want to express my gratitude for your time and attention. If you've enjoyed what you've seen and want more of it, please don't forget to subscribe. Your support is what fuels this channel, and together, we can continue to grow and bring you even better content in the future. Thanks again, and until next time.